claims backlog. I know claims backlog drives the VA crazy. I know claims backlog drives Secretary McDonald crazy, and I'll tell you who drives it craziest, and that is the servicemen and women themselves. So we have literally cut the backlog, both the time and the claims themselves, in half over the last couple of years, and the goal is to cut it in half again. We want to make sure that these servicemen and women get the services that they need. What we want is the Department of Defense and the VA to actually start talking to each other. Two separate entities that very rarely get an opportunity to actually mesh and talk. That's what some of the recommendations are going to be in the 2015 report, is to get the Department of Defense, get the VA, actually start talking to each other in the transition of these servicemen and women so that they can move forward.
These veterans and their families have earned these benefits, and we have to make sure we're doing everything possible to live up to that. Unfortunately, in so many aspects of what happens here in Washington, those expectations are not being met.
The idea that the men and women who serve this country in uniform, who make huge sacrifices for us, who take enormous risks, who pay such a steep price so often, the idea that they should come home and have to wait these unbelievably long periods of time to get a simple adjudication of a perfectly legitimate claim is outrageous, and it's unacceptable. So I think of the legislation as having two broad categories. One, tools that will help to enhance the accuracy and the quality of the actual submission, and then mechanisms that will help to make sure that that submission is handled in an accurate and timely fashion.
The main thing that brings us all together in bipartisan fashion, as you see us here, is how do we defend the homeland? And those people who defend the homeland and willing to do whatever, putting that uniform on, willing to take a bullet for you and I. So it's only right that we would defend them every way we possibly can for the service they've given. So this is really what brings us all together. I believe everybody that works for the VA is committed and dedicated to doing the best they can to serve at the VA. But it's grown, like most agencies, to where it hasn't functioned properly.
This is under the category of whatever it takes, whatever resources we need, whatever appropriations we need, if there are additional appropriations. I'm signing on the dotted line to say we'll support it, because if we can't appropriate dollars, if necessary, to make these kinds of improvements, then we might as well not have a federal government.